Most of the code development by data engineers, data scientists, or even machine learning engineers are done in the cloud. And we know that text editors such as VIM or NANO are not easy to use for code development. Therefore, today I will be showing you how you can remotely connect your Visual Studio Code from your local machine, that's your computer, to your cloud instance using SSH. And in this case, we will be using AWS EC2 instance as our remote server. Okay. Now, if you have not subscribed to this channel, I highly encourage you to do so right now. And also click on the bell so that you can get notified whenever we release any of our videos. Okay. Now, the next thing you need to do right now is go on Google and search for Visual Studio Code. And then you see this result that it gives you. If you click on download, because you need your Visual Studio Code first if you don't have it yet. Now, when you click on download, it's going to give you different downloads based on the operating system. So if you are using Windows, you click this, using Mac, and what have you, okay? Now, when you click that, then you can download and install the Visual Studio Code. Now, after you have done that, the next thing is that you need an account. Since what we are trying to do here is we want to remotely connect your local machine to an AWS EC2 instance. That means you need to create an account on AWS. So if you go to aws.amazon.com, then you can sign up for an account. Okay. Now, after you have signed up, like in my case, I already have an account. So after you have signed up, if you come right here, you can search for EC2. When you come right here, you search for EC2, then you can see EC2 right here. Then if I click on this EC2, now what we want to do right here is we want to launch an instance of EC2. We want to create an EC2 that we are going to be connecting to. So all you have to do is come right here, launch instance. So if you click launch instance, okay, now we need to give this a name. Okay, in this case, I want to give it this name. I want to give it YouTube Remote Connect. So I give it YouTube Remote Connect. Okay, and then you have to select what operating system that you want to use right here, which as you can see, application and operating system images. That's the Amazon machine image. So in this case, we want to select Ubuntu. Okay, now also, which of that do you want to select right here? If you see, you can see that we have several right here. However, we have free ones right here. So you don't have things. What we are doing is just light things we are trying to do right here. We are just trying to see how we can remotely connect our local machine to our EC2 instance. Therefore, just go with the free tier because we are eligible for that. So I will select that. Okay. So if I select that, this one, just leave this one right here, this architecture, and then you have to select which instance type. If you also click on this drop down, you can see if you scroll down, you see that we have a free tier eligible, which is this T2 micro, which is okay for what we want to do. Okay. Now the next thing is a key pair. Okay. So in this case, I would like to create a key pair. So right here, we are also going to create a key pair. Okay. So for me, if you look at this, I already have different key pairs that I've created. But in this case, I could select one of them. But in this case, let me create a new one so you guys can see. So if I create this, okay, and I've been asked to give it a name, I can give it this name, Testing Remote Connect. I can say Testing Remote Connect. Okay, you can see that. And then in that case, I can this is going to be selected pem.pem. Okay, and then do create key pair. So when you create key pair, you see something happen right here. It downloaded a PEM file for me. If I open that folder, you can see there is a PEM file right here, testing remote connect. Okay, So in my case, I will just leave it in the downloads folder. If you want, you can take it to a different folder. You can create a separate folder or whatever folder you want to put it. But in this case, I will just leave it in the downloads folder. Okay. And then I'll come right here. I'll create security group. So just for the sake of this video, I will just select only this one because I only want to SSH into the EC2. But supposing I want to connect to my EC2 via HTTPS or HTTP, then I would check this. But in this case, I just want to SSH. I can just just use this. Okay. And in this case also, you could select where you want to connect from. Is it anywhere or maybe my IP? If you click on this drop down, you'll see different options. But in this case, I will leave it as anywhere. Okay, this configuration storage, I will leave this right here, and then I will leave every other thing. Then I will say launch instance. So now, as you can see, this is creating the instance, the EC2 instance for me right here. Then I can click this. I can click these instances, or you can even click this to go to that instance. But in this case, I can just click instances so that I can see all my EC2 instance. Okay. Now this is the one we just created, YouTube remote connect, right? As you can see, it says running, right? If I refresh my browser, you can see that this is it. It says running and it is initializing. Okay. Now we have been able to provision for ourselves an EC2 instance on AWS cloud. Okay. Now let us see if we can connect to this using our command line before we then use Visual Studio Code to connect to this. Okay, so let's just for us to be sure that this is running, I would go to my computer, then I will bring out my command prompt. So if I bring my command prompt from my other computer right here, you can see I have this right here. Okay, now if I want to connect to this, what I will first of all do is this. I'll select this. If I select this, then I'll go to connect. I'll go to connect. Then it's going to bring me right here. Now this is the line of code that I need to connect. You can see I have SSH -1 testing. This is the name of that key. Remember that that PEM key that was created, that was downloaded, that I put in my that I left in my downloads folder, which is this right here. You can see that. Okay, now then Ubuntu, since the operating system that we selected here is Ubuntu. If you remember, the Amazon machine image that we selected was Ubuntu, so that is why the user right here is Ubuntu. So now what do we need to do now? What I need to do now is I'll come to my command line and then I will navigate to my downloads folder. If I navigate to my downloads folder, and why am I going to my downloads folder? Because that is where I have the PEM key. That's why I left it. So if I copy this, click on this to copy, and then I'll come back to this, then I will paste. Now you can see that I've pasted, and then I can do enter. Now this is asking me if I want to continue. I will say yes, and then you can see that it's trying to connect. Now you can see that this has connected. You can see that, guys, this has connected. So that this tells us that we are able to connect using our command line to our EC2 instance. Do we have anything there? If I do ls, you see, if I do ls, there is nothing there. We don't have anything there right now. However, let us create a folder. I will say make directory, and then I will say YouTube_learning. I'm creating a directory. That's a folder. If I create that has created. Let us use ls to check. You can see that, guys. Let me make this. Let me see if I can make this bigger for you. Okay, very good. You can see now that I've created a folder. Now let me cd into that folder, cd YouTube_learning. If I do this, you can see I have YouTube_learning, right? Let me create a file inside that. So if I create a file, I can say touch, I can say test underscore etl.py. So I'm creating a Python folder right there. So I do enter. Right now, let us check. Do I have something right there in my YouTube learning folder? Let's do ls. Very good. You can see that we have this right here right now. You can see that right here, guys. So let's assume you want to write something into this folder, right? Then you have to probably use Vim or Nano, and that's when I will say Nano. I can say Nano test. Let me put tab to complete it. That's nano test underscore etl.py. If I do enter, you can see right here, guys, that this is Nano. This is a text editor that I can use to start typing whatever thing I want to do. But it is pretty much not easy to be working with Nano or Vim, right? And that is why I want to show you how you can use your Visual Studio Code to connect. And one other thing also is that using your Visual Studio Code on your local machine helps you to be able to transfer files from and to your EC2 instance, okay, which I'm going to show you right here. You can also download files directly from that. So right here now, I'm going to close this. I'm going to do Control X to close that. So now on our EC2 instance, we have been able to create a folder which is called, or a directory which is called YouTube underscore learning, right? And also we have also been able to create a .py file which is test underscore etl. Okay, now let us now see how can we use Visual Studio Code to connect to this EC2 instance. To do that, I will go to my computer and then I will look for the Visual Studio Code that I've already installed. Then I will click that Visual Studio Code. Okay, now that I've clicked that, one thing you need to first of all do is come to this extension, click extension. So when you click the extension, you search for remote SSH. If you do that, you see this first one that comes up, remote-SSH. You see remote-SSH. Then I will do install. I will install that. You can see that this is installing and this has finished installing. Now I've gotten the remote SSH extension into my Visual Studio Code. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I will come right here. You can see this right here. It says open a remote window. Okay, then I'll click this. When I click this, then I can come right here and say connect to host. If I click connect to host, you see connect to host now is giving me different options right here, right? And this is because I already have different EC2 instances right here which I've already created previously. But for the sake of you guys that you are doing this new, all you have to do is you say configure SSH hosts. So if I configure, because right now you want to configure a new one, right? So you do configure SSH hosts. If I click that, now it is asking me that I should select the configuration file to update, right? Then you can select this first one, users, then this is your username for your computer. So you click that. When you click that, it brings you right here. As you can see that in my own case, I already have different users, right? A different host that I'm connecting to. Okay, but in your case, if you don't have anything right here, then you have to then create. So what you can just do is then you can say host. So if you say host, what is the host? What is the host that we are talking about right here? If you go back to your EC2 instance, I'll go back to mine. You can see this is the host. This is the name of my EC2 instance. I would copy that. Then I'll go to my VS Code. I'll put that in. Okay. And then I'll come right here. Remember, this needs to be indented the way it is right here. Then I'll say host name. You see the way it is written right here, host name. So what is the host name? So for the host name, go back to your EC2 instance, and then you look at this public ID address. You can see this public ID address right here. Let me make it that bigger. This public IP address, copy that. Okay, copy that. Then you would paste that right here, and then you have user. What is the user? What is the user of your EC2 instance? Remember, I told you previously that because you created this with Ubuntu, that means your user is Ubuntu. Okay, so all you have to just do is you just put Ubuntu. You can see your platform is Ubuntu. So all you have to just do is on this, then you can just say Ubuntu. Okay, now the next thing is what is called file name. Take note, you need to type it the way it is right here, your file name. That file name is the PEM file that we downloaded before. That PEM file. And remember that PEM file is, I put it right here in my downloads folder. Okay, so what I need to do is I need to copy the path of this PEM folder. So I'm using a Windows computer, so I can press shift down and then right click to copy the path, copy as path. I will copy that. If you are using a different system, yeah, you need to look for a way to do that. But also you could even type it out. You could just copy this and then type out the name of this, right? So in my case, I will just do this. I will remove this quotes. I'll remove this quote. Now you can see now I have the host, I have the host name, I have the user, and I have the identity file. The identity file is this this PEM file, this peer key that we had downloaded before. Okay, then I would save this. Okay, now that I have saved this, okay, now I can come back to this place, this open a remote window, and then I can click that again. And then I can say, because we have configured it right now, then I can say connect to hosts. If I connect to, you can see right here now, guys, that the name of that EC2 instance, that cloud instance that I have, you can see that that is showing right here now, YouTube Remote Connect. I will click this. Now you see, it's asking me that select the platform of the remote hosts, YouTube Remote Connect. That's the EC2 instance. The platform of that is a Linux platform. I can come back here and show you. If you look at this, if you click or you check on this your EC2, you can see say platform Ubuntu, platform details, Linux. You can see Linux. So in that case, I will just come right here and I will select Linux. And you can see it's trying to connect, open remote. It's doing opening remote. So it's trying to connect. Now, very good. You can see this has changed. SSH YouTube Remote Connect. Let me make this bigger. You can see we have that right here. That is how you can connect to your remote server from your local machine. Now, how do we also verify that? Let us see. Let us open a new terminal. If I open a new terminal, you can see this is Ubuntu. This is right here, guys. This is right here. I've been able to connect. And this will make your code development to be much more easier. You don't have to use Vim or Nano. So if I do ls, you can see, remember we had created using the command line. Remember we had created this folder and this file name testetl.py. You can see right here YouTube learning. If I cd into YouTube, if I type U and I press tab, you can see I navigated into that. If I do ls, you can see I have my testetl.py. Also, I could go into those folders. If we come to file, then say open folder, you see it is asking me right here that home Ubuntu is asking me which folder I want to come in. I want to come into YouTube learning. If I say YouTube learning, then I will say okay. Now you can see it's asking me, do I trust the authors of all the files? I will say yes, I trust all the authors. Now you can see that right from my local machine, I've been able to connect to that folder, that directory that I created earlier. And then I have my file right here. You can see my .py file, which I can say print. I can just say maybe print this I can say this is just a test. If I say this is just a test and I save it, and maybe I want to run it, I can just say, I can just go to my terminal, and then I can, since I'm in this folder, I can say Python test etl.py, enter. Okay, say command Python not found. Did you mean, okay, I think it wants me to use Python 3. So I can say Python 3 test.py, enter. You can see it has printed that for me. This is just a test. This is how you can do things right here, guys. It shows that, it's going to make your development easier and faster. And also, if you look at this, if I right click this, I could download. You can see if I do download, it's going to download to from that EC2 instance, from that cloud computer to my personal computer right here. If I do download, you see it's asking me where do I want to download. So that means I can download it to my downloads folder or any folder on my computer. If I do this download, you see, let us check. You see it has downloaded on my downloads computer. Okay, the same thing applies to if you want to transfer a file. If you want to transfer a file from your personal computer into that remote server, it's pretty much easy. Like, let's say this credentials.txt, I can just drag it, put it right here. You see, it is right there immediately, right? I have these credentials, I have this, I have that. You can see if I want to remove it, I can easily just, delete. This is how you can be moving stuff. Now you can see that we have been able to show you how you can remotely connect to your EC2 instance using SSH, and I've showed you how you can even download a file that you already have in your EC2 instance into your local machine, and also even to be able to drag a new file into your EC2 instance seamlessly. You can also create directory, create file here. You can create new folder here. Pretty much it is easy, and that is how you can make life easier for yourself whenever you are doing any code development that involves you developing in the cloud. I hope you guys get this right now, guys. And if you are new on this channel, I highly encourage you to subscribe to this channel and click on the bell for notification whenever we release any of our videos. And don't forget to like, share, and also share our videos so that more people can benefit. And if there's anything you also like me even to explain or to teach more, please put that in the description, in the comment section below. Thank you guys. See you in the next video. Bye.